And while the farm definitely has plenty of roots in the ground, I think the barn today says we are committed as a community to the permanency of the Rappahannock Education Farm. It is not a fly-by-night operation. We are putting roots in the ground through a structure to show that this farm will endure and be a community asset.
And we were in negotiations to lease some land, and that was taking a long time. Into our group came Deidre Jett, and so that began a dialogue about this land potentially being where our farm could be. And she and her husband Price, without going through the exact numbers, sold us this land, the first 9 acres, for about 15% of the appraised value. And then there were 2.5 acres over here where we have the cabbage and the collards and all that planted. Some of the most fertile land. That was reserved for 5 lots. Price called me just after Christmas. My wife and I were downtown, and he said, you know, we've got an offer for these lots. It was $450,000. And he said, but we'll sell it to you for 1/3 of that. And so we did that. And without their generosity, we wouldn't be standing here today. So that's just the reality. So, and this is a perfect place for us to be. You know, I thank my lucky stars that we have this land and we didn't lease the other land. No offense to the other land, but this is like an incredibly great place to be.
I'm just amazed at how much you've done in such a little bit of time. Just to give you a very brief history, my father-in-law bought this land, 60 acres, in the 40s, and he was such a generous person. He, in his 90s, was taking old people shopping. He never met a person or a stray that when they needed help, he wouldn't provide it. So to see what is happening and to know that this is going to help such a vulnerable population, he would be so incredibly proud. And it really does reflect his heritage. So thank you, Rich. Thank you, all the volunteers. Thank you from my husband, Price. Some of you may know him as Billy. But thank you from both of us, because this is just an amazing endeavor. And I am constantly amazed how quickly it's happened. So thank you, Rich.
We talked about how we really needed a bond, really to do 3 things. 1, to store equipment. Number 2, to keep produce between the time we harvest it and donate it. And 3rd, when we hold educational classes, if the weather is bad, we'll have a place to bring people in. And then it's also that permanence thing. And so the Lions said, we think we can do this. And we said, okay, you know, if you can, that would be awesome. So little by little, you know, they came up with the money to pay for most of the cost of the barn, and we're just eternally grateful for that.
To the clubs in 2 zones, the food that this will provide support to in the food banks and the food pantries covered 2 of our zones in our district, Zone F and G, which is pretty cool that there's so many clubs in the areas that this is going to support. So when we heard the story, you know, my message to Greg and to Jim Purton was, it sounds like we can just get the clubs to start making donations. We'll get a matching Lions of Virginia Foundation grant. We'll look at a Lions Club International Foundation Community Impact grant, and we'll see where it goes. And within, it's got to be less than 2 months, we had $30,000. You think about Lions Club, our motto is we serve. And if you look at our global causes, one of our 8 global causes is hunger. The other is environment. So we are supporting multiple global causes with this initiative. The other thing is, as you mentioned, Sally's been out here and other Lions have been out here planting. We're helping with the produce and picking. And the other thing we're hoping for all the other volunteers here is maybe starting a charter club here of Lions. So you can be part of this too and help at a global scale. So it's been an honor to do this. It's been, Greg keeps on saying, I can't believe it happened so quickly, but it happened because Greg and Jim and other Lions believed in this project.
I support the food bank in Omaha, Nebraska. A lot of people do. And what is it? We come by and we bring you some food, or we write you a check, or we raise you some money. This is different. This is sweat equity by the Lions. And that's what we want, right? That's what Lions do. They roll up their sleeves And I can't imagine a better feeling than supporting the food bank here through this project. And what you're going to do for service and growing Lionism in this community and the people you're going to help, you can't measure that. As they said, you know, we've heard 1 in 8 children go to bed hungry every night. That, you know, we think we're the most prestigious country in the world, and that doesn't happen in America. Well, it does, and you're raising that to a forefront, and you're addressing it, and you're taking care of it in your community, and you should be very, very proud of it.
We've transformed this piece of property pretty quickly, and again, you know, I can see the building sitting there. I have kind of a visionary, and when Rich said, "Where we're going to put it?" I said, "We're going to put it right there, and it'll be ready tomorrow." So, literally, it was ready tomorrow. Yeah. But yeah, so we get through all the red tape, we get building up, it'll look great. It's a permanent structure. Again, you know, this neighborhood, White Oak, I've grown up. Our property has been in the Stone family since the 1700s. So we had 1,980 acres. And so there's a lot of heritage here.
I also grew up just a few miles away from here and live just down the road. So the area is dear to my heart, and just being a part of the energy here and helping to direct by making a master plan for the site, to help direct all of this this good effort, community effort, such that the property will best serve the needs and the mission of the organization, has been just a really fun a fun project that this is where I want to be. And that's the beauty of this farm, is it is a magnet for our community, as well as just the feeling good of the mission and feeling good of being on this property.
So I want to tell you a little bit about our farm. We incorporated in 2023 with the idea of trying to help alleviate hunger and food insecurity in our community, which affects about 9.5% of our population, about 41,000 people in what we call Planning District 16. Among kids, it's about 11%. So we know we can't solve the problem, but we can grow and donate stuff. And so that's what we do. We grow and donate stuff. We learn from other community farms around the country who do something similar. We grow the food. The food bank tells us what kind of food their clients, their neighbors want, and we grow to that list. So it's tomatoes, potatoes, cucumbers, cabbage, broccoli, and so we donate to the food bank and food pantries. It's what we can do. Dan will tell you this area has a gap of about 200,000 pounds in terms of fresh food access, food that people who use food bank services want and they can't get. There might be other people that use food bank services that don't want fresh food, but of those who want it, it's about 200,000 pounds. Our goal is to grow 100,000 pounds annually, and it will take us, 4 or 5 years to get there. Right now, this year so far, we've grown and donated right around 11,000 pounds. By the time the year is over, we'll be somewhere between 15 and 20, I think closer to 20. And then every year we'll systematically, increase that. We're learning as we grow, as we go, and as we grow. We make mistakes, we learn from the mistakes, and we correct, and then we improve, and that's kind of our process. We're all volunteers, and we're kind of for and by the community.
We try to get fresh product to people as much as possible. When we poll those that we serve, their answers of what they want most are dairy, protein, and produce. And so we recognize that those are hard items to get donated from retail stores, sometimes even the federal commodities as they share food with us. It's not always what the people want. So to have a farm that is dedicated to producing what the people want, and to have a volunteer corps and a donor base that is focused on giving people what they are asking for, this is such a great community response. And so thank you to the Lions for investing in that community response in such a powerful way.